Hi, welcome to Christian Homeschool Headquarters. My name is Nikki and I'm a homeschooling parent. This year I decided to enroll my children in an online charter school, and I was so amazed at how involved the parents are still encouraged to be. I started to wonder, how involved are other parents in their children's education? So I did a little research, and then I decided to interview someone who had the experience firsthand of how important it is to involve parents in school. Please join me as I interview Miss Yvonne Hollins, a person who is very involved in the community as well as education. Thank you.
I was born and raised in Harrisburg. I'm a product of the Harrisburg School District. I was born and raised in the projects of Cameron and Hurst Street. And when I was in 6th grade, I decided that I was going to be an educator. And so I was determined at that point in time that I was going to be a teacher. Now, that road wasn't always easy at all. And when I was in high school, my counselor called me in, as she would everyone else, and she said, because you live in the projects and because of income, I don't think that you need to pursue going to college. I think you should go to the Commonwealth and fill out an application to become a clerk. So you can see I listened well to her, because my determination was that I was going to become an educator. And as a result of that, I then graduated from high school in 1968. Even though individuals were saying, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Harrisburg Area Community College," which is an excellent school for basic foundation. And they kept saying to me, my friends kept saying, "You're going to have to go 4 more years because that's not an accredited school," and things like of that sort. But I knew what I could financially afford. And so I attended there, and solid foundation, beautiful. And after 2 years, then I went on to Penn State Harrisburg, and I received my bachelor's there and my first master's, and became a teacher in 1972 in Harrisburg, and served as an elementary teacher. After serving as an elementary teacher, I was then married at the age of 28, and then I had my daughter at the age of 30. So I was actually teaching and being a mother and a wife, and I decided I needed to practice what I was preaching, which was to stay home with my child. So I then resigned from that, and then stayed home for about 5 years. And when I went back to the district, I served as an in-school suspension person at the William Penn campus, and I really liked the secondary. I did 9 years elementary, but I really liked the secondary. So then I decided to go back to school. So I was riding up and down 81 4 nights a week to Shippensburg after teaching all day, because I was determined. And you know how when someone says that you can't do, you put forth even more effort in order to accomplish your goal. And so I was able to accomplish my second master's at Shippensburg and my principal certification in time to become the assistant principal at the high school from which I graduated. Isn't that amazing? So that was truly a joy. And so I served there as an assistant principal, and then I was asked to become a principal of the middle school. And the middle school was a new initiative in Harrisburg, which basically was open ed, and I was asked to go there to clean it up. So I went there as a principal in special assignment. And then I was asked to come to Central Dauphin School District. I thought that. I said, no way, I cannot leave my home. This is Harrisburg. You know, I lived out, after being married, I moved to the Lower Paxton area. And I said, no way. But God said, yes, you're going. So I ended up becoming an assistant principal at East High.
Wow.
And then I was asked, I didn't interview, I was asked to become the director of secondary ed, Central Dauphin School District, and then was asked to become assistant superintendent of secondary ed. And I did that there and I was in Central Dauphin from 1994 until 2004. Then I became a distinguished educator for Pennsylvania Department of Education, and during that time we worked with all the superintendents in the state whose school districts were having difficulty making adequate yearly progress under the No Child Left Behind Act. Then I thought I retired again, and I was asked to come to the Boys and Girls Club because they needed leadership and to make sure that the doors weren't going to close, because the doors were going to close here in the Boys and Girls Club. This is my home. Children are my passion. I love children, and I know that we are actually touching our future when we touch our children when it comes to academics, and also providing them with all the resources that they need in order to become positive, productive citizens.
Since you have been so involved in education, you've been involved in many, many schools, how have you tried to involve parents in their child's education?
Involving parents seems to be the most difficult thing to do in any type of situation, whether it's education, sports, or et cetera. But I really feel that the way that I have involved parents is to make sure that I'm in contact with the parents. I think that that's most important, and that you're in contact when there are positive things to say. You're not always calling parents with a negative type situation. So I might call a parent and say, I just wanted to let you know that your son, I watched him in the hallway, and 10 people walked past a piece of paper that was in the hallway, and he did bend down, picked it up, and put it in the trash can. And I just want you to know that we really appreciate what he did in trying to help make the environment clean and safe for everyone else. So, and just involving parents, giving them that opportunity to talk, giving them a sense of responsibility, I think is very important. I think your PTOs, your PTAs, your parent advisory groups are very, very important, that they have a say in what is actually happening with their children while they are in school. And you want to make sure that whatever we're teaching our children, that they can take that back, because many times our children are educating the parents in various areas. So we have a responsibility to make sure that we're educating them properly so that the information that they're taking back home is accurate. And it's reinforcing what we're actually doing. And we're helping the parent. And one thing that I often said when I was a principal is that when I would have a staff meeting, and there would be complaints and whining, and well, we can't do anything because the parents aren't doing anything, and things of that sort. And I used to say, and I still say this, we cannot control what parents do. My question to you is, what are we doing for the child while we have them? Let's not throw blame on anyone. What are we doing in order to make sure that they're getting the resources that they need? And once we begin to focus in on that, then that information is taken home. And then giving parents incentives to come into the school, making sure that they feel comfortable, that they feel invited. I think your first impression is most important. When a parent comes into that door of the school, if they do not feel wanted, and if they're not given a friendly smile and a professional reception, I wouldn't want to come into that building either. So I think that it's very important that we let parents know that the doors are open to them. There are many things that they can do, and together, we would be able to make a positive difference with all of our children when we're working together.
You said that it was hard to get parents involved regardless of what it is, for education or for sports. Why do you think it's hard to get them involved? Is it because they don't feel welcomed, or what can it be?
Many times I don't think that they feel that they're not welcome totally, but once they give them to you, they do not want to interfere with what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
So when you think about it, when you take your child to school, their first day in kindergarten, and we all, being mothers, we know what that was like. We just did not want to leave them.
Right.
The children were fine. They may cry a little bit, but most of the time they were fine. They just went in, and then we hung around, and we were peeping around corners, or we pretended that we left, and then we went around the block and we came back to peek in to see if they were okay. So, and so you need to, parents, we being parents, we know what that's like, but then we also had to get to a point where we would feel comfortable in leaving our child with that other adult. And so many times when it's kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, we're still there. But something happens with many of our parents once they hit sixth grade. It's almost as if, okay, well, they're okay, they'll be fine. And then when they hit middle school, there's a decrease in involvement. And in my opinion, there needs to be more involvement at that point because of the various stages of adolescence that our children are going through. The child needs them more than ever. But then that's also the time when parents and children have their differences. So that it may appear that they do not want to be apart, but they really do. But they also are in a catch-22 situation. We want them to grow up. We want them to accept responsibility, so we can't always be there spoon-feeding them.
Right.
So there needs to be a happy medium that we would be able to have with that. And so having different things, I like this thing, dads and donuts at the early grades, or moms and muffins. So you can have something else at the upper level that involves the parents. And I think that we need to move in those directions and become very innovative in making sure that we're involving parents in fun activities with the children.
How does the Boys and Girls Club encourage the value of education here? I guess is what I'm asking.
That's a very good question. And being an educator and knowing the importance of education for all of our children, when I first came on board here, we have programs, and they're evidence-based programs. And I'm the type of person that if I'm telling you that I'm doing something, I'm going to do it 100% or not at all. And if we say that we are delivering an academic component here at the Boys and Girls Club, then indeed we're going to deliver it. And it's not, even if it says that it's just for this age group, no. Academics is for everyone. We're all learning. We're like sponges. So when I came on board, there's Power Hour. Power Hour is our academic component, during which time our children get homework, help, tutoring, and academic enrichment in reading, math, science, and social studies. And there's innovative ways of doing that. However, you need to make sure, we needed to make sure that our children were doing their homework, and also that even if they're reading for 1 hour, can you imagine the magnitude of academic growth if you spend 1 hour per day reading or decoding or just in an academic arena for 1 solid hour? It's going to make a tremendous difference. So here at the Boys and Girls Club, it's required. And it's required even during the summer. And being adults, I had a couple of adults, and I know they were adults, that said something to the children. Go ask Ms. Hollins why we have to do Power Hour and it's summertime. There's no school. So I said to them, are you proficient in advance on your PSSAs? How's your foresight data? You have all A's and B's on your report card. Do you read every day? And if you can't say yes to all of those, that's why we do what we're doing. Because I want to make sure that you fully understand what we teach you here at the Boys and Girls Club. And it's embedded in their heads. Knowledge is power, and graduation is a must. It's not an option. And with that, and our children say that with conviction, now they fully understand that when they have that basic knowledge, they can soar. There isn't anything that they cannot achieve. And also they begin to believe in themselves. When our children are able to see and experience the academic success, they feel good about themselves. They do not feel as though they're second class, that they cannot compete with other individuals in school, and competing in a very positive manner academically. So here at the Boys and Girls Club, and that's in all 3 locations, the expectations are here. You can look around, you see what you see. You see books, plenty of books. You were here, so you were familiar with the Power Hour sheets, and also coming in with creative things just to have the children involved. Right now we have situations where we have young people who cannot sign their name because they've taken cursive out of the schools. Big, big, big mistake. We have children who cannot sign their name. We had individuals, we have a program here, it's called Inspiring Teens to Graduate. And our teens are working with FAFSA applications, Dress for Success, interviewing skills, and college tours. We have individuals who are completing these FAFSA applications, and it requires a signature, and they have no idea how to sign their name. They use manuscript. They print. That's not acceptable. So we're also now teaching cursive. You remember years ago when we did the ovals? And all, so we're getting into that. So it's handwriting without tears because they need that. I have two of my individuals that went on, two of my young people that went on to college. Penn State was one, the other one was IUP. And they came back in order to fill out some paperwork, and they said to me, "Can you show me how to write a check?" College, can you show me how to write a check? Certainly, I'll show you how to write a check. That should have been accomplished and learned way before their freshman year in college. And then also to sign their name on a document that they needed to get a scholarship. And they could not sign their name. The one was able to do it. And I said, "Oh my, I'm surprised." But you know what he was doing? He was drawing it because he remembered doing cursive in a private school in first grade. Unacceptable. So we are bridging, and that's what needs to happen, between the Boys and Girls Club, the school districts, and all of the other nonprofits that are working with young children, that we're coming together and making sure that we're giving them all of the resources that they need in order to become successful.